Welcome in to another edition of Gold and Black Radio. I'm your host, Derek Schultz. It's already our final show in April, which is kind of hard to believe. And we are also ready to give some final finality to the transfer portal window, which is now closed, but there are still decisions out there yet to be made. We're going to get the latest from a very, very busy Tom Dienhart in just a few minutes. But before we get rocking and rolling on this edition of the show, we wanted to shout out our dedicated and fabulous Gold and Black sponsors. That list includes Purdue Federal Credit Union, a proud partner of Purdue Athletics and the official credit card for Purdue fans. Boiler up. East End Grill and Ripple and Company, two distinctive bistros across the street from one another on the far end of Main Street, the perfect place for your next event. The Whitaker Inn, this Midwestern oasis is perfect for a relaxing staycation or weekend getaway. Escape from the ordinary at the Whitaker Inn. Sand Valley Resort, where tee times for the 2025 golf season at Sand Valley are now available. Using their online booking platform, it's easier than ever to find availability and experience golf as it was meant to be. Conveniently located in the breathtaking dunes of central Wisconsin, Sand Valley offers a collection of award-winning courses designed by world-renowned architects that are suitable for all skill levels. Visit sandvalley.com and book your tee times online today. And finally, the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research. The Purdue Institute for Cancer Research has a history of innovation and one goal for the future: defeat cancer. Purdue brings together world-class Boilermaker scientists from across the university conducting cutting-edge research that uncovers new ways to prevent, diagnose, and treat cancer. With your support, cancer research saves lives. Join the fight and donate to the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research today. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and welcome on that very busy Tom Dienhart, who's kind enough to always carve out some time for us here on Gold and Black Radio. And as I mentioned, Tom, the window is closed, but the decisions are still being made, right? It's kind of like, you know, I've got a 100-year-old house. Sometimes the window's a little bit drafty. It's like it's closed, but the wind's still kind of blowing through here. Saw your latest this morning that the portal count is up to 18 this spring alone. What are we looking at there if you had to kind of give it a guesstimate as far as an overall number? And when you combine it with the other portal window season, could it go as high as somewhere in the 60s?
Derek, you have not been taking notes. The portal count is now 19. They just had another commitment.
Is it really? I must have missed it. Yeah, I must have coughed and missed it.
You got to keep hitting the refresh button, Derek. Keep hitting the refresh
Oh, my
button.
Lord.
Yeah, they just added a punter, so now they've got a punter in the fold. So 19 portal commitments in the April window alone. And yeah, Derek, you referenced the December portal window. Well, back then they took 29 guys. 2 of those guys have since left, so there's 27 of them left. So as far as the April window goes, again, 19 is the number now. I've been told it could go as high as 25. So do the math, Derek Schultz. They're going to probably have over 55 players from the transfer portal to make up a roster that's probably going to number just 105. So, boy, if there ever was a good time to be a program salesman, this would be the year to be a program salesman at Purdue, right?
Absolutely. And it's not as easy as just, you know, you give out an offer and then players automatically come here, right? You have to have everybody kind of working in lockstep. You have to have something to sell. And you gave some praise to, as much as and we'll talk about more about Barry Odom here and the job that he's done really kind of hitting the ground running in year one. But you gave some praise to general manager Brandon Lee. And, you know, I wanted to talk to you about that as well, Tom. What have others said about the job that he's done in helping usher in this new roster and being part of this new world of college football where teams have GMs in this role?
Yeah, Brandon Lee and his assistant, Ethan Baxter, 2 smart guys. You know, it's a team effort. Don't get me wrong. The coaching staff, obviously, all the recruiting people, you need a whole village here to get these guys. But they obviously are point men. They are financial guys, if you will. Try to help juggle the numbers, see who they can fit in. So, yeah, they're in that role now, Derek, that's becoming more and more prominent in college football. We're seeing the last couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years, we've seen schools have GMs. Of course, Purdue had one with Noah Joseph before. So, yeah, just, you know, I think we're going to continue to see that role evolve over time, too. Right now at Purdue, these guys are involved in not just some of the financial decisions, but also helping with just evaluating personnel, too. So a big, important role. And those 2 guys have been very busy, obviously, especially here in April, trying to get guys in, seeing what they can spend, trying to manage that money, if you will, and trying to build a better roster for this 2025 Boilermaker team.
When you talk about 55 guys, obviously you've got a lot of positions that added multiple. I mean, we're talking 3, 4, even in some cases 5 more guys. But particularly offensive line, Tom, that one has really piqued my interest. Why do you think Barry Odom and his staff were so aggressive, particularly with that position group. And we talked about Braden Joyner last week, but Marcus Easley was added to the list, and they got some big dudes with some big pedigrees in that group.
Yeah, you're right. Boy, Marcus Easley from Kankakee, Illinois, sort of south of Chicago there. Was it Georgia? Big body. They got Brandon Joyner from Auburn early on. I think he has a chance to start at guard. Tyrell Green from Eastern Kentucky. Yeah, the heights and weights of these guys, they're big boys. They're Big Ten offensive linemen. And yeah, you said there's 5 right now, Derek. And I wouldn't be shocked if maybe Purdue tries to add a couple more to that list, if you can believe it. Really trying to really overhaul that offensive line. You're a football guy. People watching this are football people. We all know that the game is won at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And you got to be good on that offensive line and that defensive line. And we've seen the resources Purdue is dedicated to trying to bolster this offensive line. They obviously thought it was a weakness, right? And I think they got 2 or 3 starters, guys who could come in right now and start, and guys who also can help off the bench if they don't claim starting spots on that O-line. And the defensive line too, Derek. Three transfers already have come into Purdue along the defensive line. I know they got one guy on campus today, a defensive tackle is visiting. They've got an edge guy that they're waiting on a decision from. And there's another edge rusher that may visit later this week. So they're not done on the defensive line either. They could have upwards of 5 or 6 guys from the portal in April on the D-line.
What do you think about that wide receiver room? They just added another one just this week in a Power 4 player in David Washington for Utah, who Odom had recruited previously at UNLV. And just your overall picture on the revamped wide receiver room, Tom.
They really wanted David Washington. They got him. Derek, you talked about the relationship they had with him previously. He's a Las Vegas area kid. They recruited him when they were on the UNLV staff. He hit the portal, which surprised a lot of people at Utah. He came in here on Monday for a visit, and they quickly got a commitment from him. He could be a centerpiece, Derek, at first. They also got the 2 kids from Georgia, which created quite a buzz, as you can imagine, especially the in-state kid, Nitro Tuggle, from the northern part of the state. He could be that alpha receiver this unit needs, Derek. They really didn't have an alpha last year. They went through spring football. They brought in 5 portal receivers then. Nobody really stood out as that alpha guy. You need that guy that can take the top off of defense. It's going to make defensive coordinators worry. And maybe Nitro Tuggle can be that guy, Derek, a 4-star recruit. Maybe he's matured a little bit. We'll see if it develops for him. Michael Jackson coming from Georgia as well. And we talked about David Washington. Then they got a Brownsburg, Indiana kid, Corey Smith, who was at Tulsa. The word is Corey wanted to come to Purdue, I think, out of high school. It didn't happen. He spent his freshman year again at Tulsa. Now he's coming to West Lafayette. So you mix those guys in with, I think, 4 or 5 guys that are here now. And I think Purdue has the makings of a receiving unit that's going to give Ryan Brown and those quarterbacks something to work with.
I got to tell you, if we were making an all-names team, Nitro Tuggle.
How about that?
Would be. Let's hope he's good, just so that can be a thing, right? Nitro. And he's a receiver. You know, that's
they need like Nitro. Maybe you can endorse some type of an energy drink too, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of NIL possibilities for sure when it comes to that. You know, something else I wanted to touch on, Tom, because we've spent so much time focusing on the portal, and rightfully so, right? These are new names, and we're all kind of taking a crash course in who these guys are and what they bring to the table and how they can fit in coming up this fall if they actually stick around coming up this fall. Who are some of the holdovers on your radar that, you know, even some like CJ Madden, who was a portal addition last year, who people forget, he's still there, you know, and your expectations for some of those holdovers who are primed to potentially play big roles and have big seasons?
Yeah, that's a good place to start. CJ Madden, a Georgia transfer from last year, I think they're counting on him to be maybe their alpha pass rusher. He's looked very good. Everybody tells me he's really worked hard, is dialed in. You know, last year he really got ruined for him because of injury. Denylon Morissette, another Georgia kid, a wide receiver, had 11 catches last year, but I think Denylon's a guy that can be in the top 2 or 3 groups in receiver rotations coming year. The offensive line, Joey Tonona, I think they're going to count on him being the starting left tackle. We'll see if he can still hold that job, but that's his. I think it's going to be pretty hard for Joey to be unseated. Devin Mockobee, right? Maybe the biggest name on the team. He's going to have to be a leader, and he's going to have to be awfully productive as well. Those are guys, I think, just off the top of my head. You know, defensively, Derek, there's really not many holdovers I can think of that could be prominent. You know, I think Winston Berglund, if he can stay healthy,
Hmm.
could maybe carve out a niche at linebacker for Purdue. Trey Smith off the edge. He got here last year from Illinois. He was with the first team in the spring. He could be a guy that continues to play a role off the edge this fall as they're bringing in more edge rushers too. So those are some guys that are sort of holdovers that fans may be familiar with from last year that are still coming back in 2025.
With so many changes, it feels like Devin Mockobee's been at the program for 20 years because there's been 20 years worth of things that have happened to Purdue and just the
Yeah.
major college football landscape in his career. But how important is just that? We know what he brings to the table as a presence. He's one of the few players that fans are familiar with because he's still here, right? But how important is just that presence, Tom, of a guy that's just really been through everything in his time at Purdue and still being here through all the wars and through everything else that has happened?
Man, Derek, it's big time. When he decided to stay, he already was a fan favorite. He almost took on, folk hero status by planting his flag in West Lafayette, staying in West Lafayette when others were fleeing the ship, right? Devin Mockobee could have fled the ship too. When we talked to him this spring, Purdue means a lot to him. He wants that Purdue engineering degree. It's not all about chasing the highest paycheck he can get. The school matters to him, and you can imagine, Derek, how that resonates with the fan base. The message boards, the Twitter responses were huge when he made those decisions and made those comments. So, yeah, he's got to be a leader, a special guy. I think he's going to go down as an all-time great. Outside chance, Derek, with a super year, he could become the all-time leading rusher. I think he's going to probably finish as the number 2 guy. But, again, it's not about numbers for a guy like Devin Mockobee. If you ever had a chance to be around him or talk to him, he's just a special guy. I'm really amazed when young people can have that type of maturity, that type of level-headedness to them. It makes me look back on my years in college and with some shame. He's a special guy and an easy guy to root for. And this is funny, Derek. I put this in my 3-2-1 posted this morning. There's only 4 players left from Purdue's 2022 team that won the Big Ten West. And, of course, he's one of them. He's the most prominent one. The other guys are walk-ons. This is his 3rd head coach, too, Derek. Jeff Braun, Ryan Walters, and now Barry Odom. So if Devin Mockobee's one thing, he's a survivor.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Last thing here, Tom, take me through kind of next steps here. I mean, you wait for the rest of the portal decisions to come in, and then, high school graduation's coming up, and in a couple of weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is, you'll have those kids kind of matriculating into West Lafayette and getting acclimated. And, where are we right now as the spring really kind of transitions into the summer here shortly?
Yeah, boy, I'm seeing kids all around campus now with their cap and gowns, taking their pictures at the various famous landmarks around campus. It's kind of fun. And yeah, the high school kids will follow about a month later. Yeah, the portal's still percolating for Purdue. You talked about that off the jump, Derek. Yes, the portal's closed. It closed at Friday at midnight. But there's a lot of guys, the key was getting in the portal. Once you're in the portal, you can jump out whenever you want.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of guys in the portal shopping, obviously. Purdue still has guys coming to visit. So what I'm trying to say is continue to look for some commitments here over the next few weeks. Heck, Derek, they may get some commitments into the summer. But like I said, maybe 7, 8 more guys. And then high school recruiting will really pick up. They've got 6 commitments in the 2026 class now. They've got 3 camps scheduled for right over here in June. So you're going to see some commitments, I think, take place in June as well. You're really going to see that high school recruiting pick up in June. So, boy, there's always a lot going on with football, Derek. There's so many moving parts now, especially with the portal. And so those are some things for fans to sort of keep on their radar here, football-wise. Continuing to watch for portal commitments, and then in June to really look for high school recruiting to pick up and expect Purdue to get some more commitments from high school kids in June.
And as those commitments come in, of course, you'll hear it from Tom right here, the best Boilermaker football coverage at goldandblack.com. Thanks so much, man, and we will catch up again soon, as we always do.
Always good to see you, Derek. Be good, buddy.
That's our friend Tom Dienhart, and that is our show for this Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us and talking portal with us here on Gold and Black Radio. And a special thank you to our great sponsors, Purdue Federal Credit Union, the official credit card for Purdue fans, East End Grill and Ripple and Company, 2 distinctive bistros across the street from one another on the far end of Main Street in Lafayette. The Whitaker Inn for unparalleled comfort and cuisine. Visit the Whitaker Inn. Sand Valley Resort. Tee times for the 2025 golf season at Sand Valley are now available. Visit sandvalley.com. Book your tee times today. And finally, the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research, which has a history of innovation and one goal for the future: defeat cancer. Join the fight and donate to the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research today. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And of course, you can leave a positive review for this podcast and check out all of our Gold and Black radio coverage and listeners. Use promo code PU1 at checkout when purchasing a monthly subscription to goldandblack.com to get 2 months for $1, just $1 for 2 months. Subscribe to the goldandblack.com website on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and enable alerts, new highlights, videos uploaded regularly. Of course, we'll have all the content, whether it be goldandblack.com, whether it be you're on the Apple Podcast, whatever you are right now listening to this show, whether it be Knucklehead Central, whether it be the YouTube channel, whether it be social media, where Tom and Brian Newbert, of course, are both very active. So am I. You can check all of that out, even though I'm far less smart than those guys. Check all of that out via goldandblack.com. That's your portal, no pun intended, for all of the Purdue coverage when it comes to men's basketball and football right here on goldandblack.com. But until next time on Gold and Black Radio, we will see you next Tuesday. Have a great rest of the week.